Hi, everyone. My name is Grant Overman, and I'm the Academic Advisor for Psychology, Engineering, and Physics here at Abilene Christian University. In this short video, I'll be going over some important information for you guys to get ready for the fall, some things to get ready for our virtual meeting that we'll have later in the summer. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for right now, I just want you to know how excited I am that you've chosen ACU. It's a great place full of great people. I'm looking forward to getting to meet you, or at least sort of meet you right online, and of course, getting ready to meet you in the fall. So if you will just sit through what is hopefully going to be a short video, you'll get some really important information, and I think it will help you be prepared for our meeting so we can get the most out of that as well. So what we're going to cover in this presentation in a little bit more detail, we're going to talk about what an academic advisor does, including some of the things that happen at Wildcat Central, and just what do I actually do for you? What are we going to do when we meet throughout the time you're here at ACU? How do I help you in your academic journey? We're going to go over some basics of a college degree and ACU specific degrees. Some of that's going to be lingo that you need to know and start familiarizing yourself with. Some of it's going to be information about what's actually in your degree and what classes you'll be taking, including a little bit of specific information about your major. We're not going to go class by class or anything like that, but kind of a big picture look about what the degree you've chosen so far is going to entail. And then we'll talk about what the next steps are going to be in order to get ready for the fall. Like I said before, including setting up our meeting together where we'll talk one-on-one about any questions you have or things that you specifically need to do to get ready. All right, so a little bit just about me. Like I said, my name is Grant Overman. I am a proud ACU graduate, 2 degrees in psychology, one in my undergrad, the other one my master's degree in school psychology. You can see some members of my family there in the middle is me and my wife, Michelle, at our first date at an Alpha Chi event here at ACU. The little man, Zachary, in the bottom right is 3 years old. So you can see my sing song picture there, right? Pretty much everybody has to do sing song at least once. If you don't know what sing song is yet, ask somebody. Chances are they'll want to tell you more than you would ever want to know about it. But this is just, ACU is a big part of my life. And so all of these pictures are here in Abilene or from my time here at ACU with my siblings or my wife. I have a lot of family members who've come to ACU. So it's very important to me. It's a great place. And I want to give you an encouragement that even if you're new to college or new to ACU and it feels like everybody else, like their grandparents and great grandparents went here, you will quickly become part of the family. You will find the people that will be like family to you. Even though I have a little bit of an ACU legacy, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia originally. I'm a foreigner in Texas terminology, right? And so it was a big adjustment still, but quickly at ACU, you find your place. That's one of the things I think we're best at is bringing people into the fold and making them feel welcome. So that's just a little bit about me and kind of our life in Abilene, and hopefully I'll get to know you just as well. Next, I want to talk a little bit about academic advising and Wildcat Central. So all the advisors are in an office on campus called Wildcat Central that's located in the campus center where the bean is, the cafeteria. It'll be easy to find once you get here on campus. We are the one-stop shop for any of your needs. Anything you need, transcript, parking permits, questions about the registrar and things like getting credit or taking a CLEP test or something like that, we can help you out with. What I will do mainly is degree planning, helping you plan out not just every semester, but your entire 4 years here, or maybe longer if you stay for graduate work or if you change your major or something like that. Kind of helping you, one, get the most bang for your buck, right? Maximize that block tuition, make sure that your tuition dollars are going towards stuff that you need, but also getting the most out of your experience. How do we fit in all the other things that you need to do, internships, if you want to do research, stuff like that, into your degree? So it's kind of a two-way street, right? I have all this information. I want to help you out. I want to connect you to resources and opportunities you have. What you will need to do is make sure you reach out and communicate those things. If you have a question, I'm your go-to guy. I either know the answer and can help you, or I can point you to the person who can. And you also need to be invested, right? You need to kind of understand what's going on in your degree, have some idea of what's coming down the pipe, understand what classes are and how things work, and remember when I tell you things, because it'll make the experience a lot better for you, and we'll be able to quickly cover the basic stuff and get into the more interesting, and at least what I think is interesting stuff, where I can help you kind of really get the most out of it. And like, how do I make my degree work for me so I can fit in all this other stuff that I want to do, right? Kind of those next level questions beyond just like, how do I not have any 8 a.m.s? That stuff is fine too, and that's a big part of my job. But what I really want is for both of us to be invested in the process, know what we're talking about, so that we can kind of, again, make sure you're really, taking advantage of what the opportunities you have and not just kind of like going on to the next thing and floating from semester to semester. So speaking of degrees, we're going to talk a little bit about just degrees and degree plans and what every ACU degree has. Every ACU degree, you need 128 credit hours, or sometimes just called hours. So you can see on this list, certain classes are a certain amount of hours. Everybody has to do what's called university requirements, right? Those are the things that every single degree has. And then from there, you have your major specific classes. You can see a lot of categories here. I just want to highlight a couple of them. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but yes, you will have to take all of these requirements. Now, some of you might have a degree that has more than one math course built into it. That's fine. It'll overlap. English majors are going to take more than 3 English classes, right? But everybody will take at least 3. So Cornerstone, every freshman takes. It is a foundational class that introduces you to college level thinking, college level academic skills, and just liberal arts and critical thinking in general, right? So it's pretty broad as a category, but it's really good as kind of for like setting you on the right path as a learner, right? So you'll take that this semester. Everybody will take Bible. You need to take 5 of them. 3 of them are lower level, where we cover the Old and New Testament and kind of get into that. And then 2 of them, the last 2 classes, you get to choose yourself. And you can see these courses cover a wide variety of topics because we are a liberal arts university, which means we want you to be well-rounded. We want you to be exposed to some things outside of your major. So you're not just coming here and only taking psych classes because you're a psych major, or only taking engineering because you're an engineer. You're going to kind of broaden your horizons a little bit over the course of your years here. Okay, so now that we've talked about the general requirements for every degree, I want to get into just a little bit of the specifics for some of the majors I advise. If you're a psych major, you need to go back and choose the other video. This is the engineering physics of the video. If you're engineering and physics, you've landed on the right spot. I know this is kind of hard to read right now, but it's okay. I just want you to have the big picture and not necessarily like details of every single class. But what you can see here is a sample degree plan. Now, I want to stress it's a sample. You might not take all these classes in this orders. And in fact, if you're an engineering major, this is the mechanical degree plan. If you're doing electrical engineering, some of this will look different a little bit, but for the most part, it'll be same. If you're physics, the first 2 years are almost identical to engineering. It's a little bit different. You're not going to take statics and dynamics, maybe, or engineering thermodynamics, but you will take general engineering physics. You will take pretty much all the same math, although most physics concentrations we have take more than the engineers do. Any class you see on here that says E and GR, if you're a physics major, just pretty much you're going to replace that with a physics class, right? Again, we're not going into the specific courses, just kind of the idea about what we're doing. So a couple things about this. One, you have a lot more overlap with your, in your major with your university requirements that other people do. You also may hear someone talk about electives. And in fact, you'll see on here 1 free elective in the fall of senior year. You'll see some engineering electives. If you talk to me later, your physics, and you get the physics sample schedule, you will see maybe that you have some more free electives. It depends again on which concentration you choose. Bottom line, engineering or physics, really any science, it's hard. You don't have a lot of electives. It's hard to fit in extra stuff. So if you're interested in a minor or something like that, as you can see here, you have a lot of specifically named classes that you have to take. Not a lot of things that just say free elective where that would fit in, right? Doesn't mean it's impossible, but what it does mean is either A, will take more time, B, you will have to take classes over the summer in order to complete that minor, or it might mean that that's just not an option. That's okay. This is the type of degree where it's like, it's for a very, very specific purpose. It's not more about preparing you for various opportunities. If we compare this to the psych degree, right? Even when you go into graduate school in psychology, there's still a lot of stuff you have to do, and it's very broad still. So they have a broad foundation, and we want to then like give them some other stuff to take and kind of figure out is what they're wanting to do. Like if you chose mechanical engineering, you want to do mechanical engineering and you need the skills to do it, and you're going to do it now, right? And it's not, you can go on to graduate school with this degree, but it's also a professional degree, right? Versus something like someone majoring in sociology or psychology who is definitely going to grad school, and this is kind of just step 1. You guys are like, you could be done after this. So that's why you don't have as much room to take that extra stuff. Although if you're interested in it, we can talk about it. Couple other things. Yes, you have to take a lot of math. Yes, you have to take a lot of physics. So just be prepared. If you got to this point and you weren't aware that that was what went into this, don't let it scare you off. But also, if you're like, wait, I hate math. I picked engineering for whatever reason, but I despise math with every fiber of my being. Maybe we need to talk about something else for you, right? The other big thing to notice, if you look in fall of freshman year, that first row, the last class there is Calculus 1. It is strongly preferred for you to be calculus ready in the fall. That means placement tests. Some of you have AP, some of you have dual credit. That's great. If you haven't done that, you've gotten information sent to your ACU email and probably your other email too about placement testing. Get on that as fast as you can. You can take that twice. you need to be in at least pre-cal 2. We can still make pre-cal 2 work, although it's difficult because this is a very tight sequential degree. There's not a lot of wiggle room to retake things or move things around. Some things are only offered in the fall and spring. In fact, a lot of things are. So minimum pre-calculus 2, strongly preferred calculus 1. That means even if you need to just take a class, like I'm not going to be able to place in a pre-cal 2, but I could take a pre-cal 1 class this summer, right, and be ready. I would strongly recommend you do that as well. We can talk in your meeting more about how to do that and what that looks like, but this is the big thing I want to say. Math is like the engine that makes this run. If you don't have the math skills, you can't take the physics stuff, which means you can't get into the engineering stuff, which means you're going to be here longer than 4 years. It sounds dramatic, but that's the reality of it. So definitely ask me if you have any questions about that before we get started. And again, we can go over this maybe in a little bit more detail, but you know, it's not going to change that much depending on which specific degree you're doing. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is the Discovery Program. This is a free program for students that is designed to help you either confirm a major that you're in or explore other majors and kind of figure out what would be a good fit for you. So a lot of people declare a major and they're not entirely sure that's what they're going to stick with long term. No better way to figure that out than to take classes, which you will do. But also this is kind of designed to help you learn a little bit more about yourself, your values, what you want out of life, what you're interested in, what your personality is, and how do those kind of line up with areas of academic study and career. So again, it's free. You can go to the website listed here, acu.edu/discovery, to learn more about it. But if you're at all thinking, even if you're like, I'm 95% sure, look at this and consider it, because I have students every semester who do this who are just confirming something they're probably going to do anyways, but they really, really want to know, and this is a good resource for that. Okay, to finish up here, I just want to tell you what you need to know about the summer appointments that are coming up. First of all, you're going to get information about that in an email to your ACU account. So make sure that you've set that up, that you've logged into it, and that you're checking it regularly. In fact, checking your email every day, if it's not something you already do, is something you need to start doing just in general as a college student. The first time you show up to an 8 a.m. class that's been canceled because your professor has a sick child and you didn't look at your email, you will think back to this moment and say, Grant told me to do that, and I should have been doing it, right? So there's gonna be a link in there to sign up for a time slot, for a 30-minute time slot. We'll conduct the meeting over Zoom. If you have questions about how to get that set up, let me know and I can help if you haven't used it, if you use something else for school or whatever, right? And we're just going to do basic questions. Most of you probably won't go the full 30 minutes. It's not something we have to fill. If you just have a few quick questions and otherwise you're good. If you do have more questions, let's take the whole 30 minutes. It's your time, right? But we're going to cover some questions you might have about the degree. Mostly what I end up talking to students about: placement testing, dual credit, AP, transfer credit, things like that, right? My advice: think more short term. What do I need to be ready for the fall? I want to talk to you about those long-term things. This is not necessarily the best format for that because, first of all, you have so much new information you're taking in. I don't want to add to that if it's not immediately relevant. But also, by the time you start coming here and coming to class, a lot of your perspective and ideas on that are going to change. And so I want you to be kind of in the midst of it, right, when we start talking about that kind of stuff. But definitely ask questions to get you thinking. Like if you're like, what's a minor? I think I might want a minor. That's a great question. If you're like, which of these 3 minors should I pick? Okay, well, give it a little bit more time. Maybe take a class and see what you think about that, right? If you're like, is it possible to double major? That's a better question versus like, okay, what is my schedule going to look like for the next 4 years to make this double major fit in here, right? Those kind of things we want to save for when we have more time, because there's a lot of you and these appointments are going to be back to back for me. And also when you, again, have a little bit more experience under your belt and you can kind of think, is that what I really want in reality versus like, this kind of thing you've just been thinking of and haven't even, set foot in a college class yet. But absolutely, this is a big part of what we do, is that long-term planning. So it might not happen now, but it will happen. And of course, if you have a question, please ask it. Okay, don't say like, oh, I don't know if that fits and Grant's going to be mad if I ask the question. That's not the case at all. I may just say, hey, that's a little bit bigger of a scope than what we have time for now. Let's save this for another time. All right, and lastly, here is just some contact information. This video is already probably longer than I would want it to be. Maybe I just have a shorter attention span than all of you do. That's probably true. I'm a bit of a boomer, I think, when it comes to watching YouTube videos or listening to this kind of thing. I like to read stuff unless I'm listening to the radio. That's the kind of person I am, a radio listener. But anyways, Wildcat Central, right? That's where we're located. You can email Wildcat Central with general questions, advising@acu.edu, or wildcatcentral@acu.edu, or you can email me directly here. That's my office number. I'm working from home. That office number will not help you, so email me. But when the semester starts, I will be available there, and that's a number you can have and use. We've got the virtual appointments that we're doing. I have drop-in hours during the semester once you get here, so you'll be able to schedule with me during the semester, but also you'll be able to just come ask questions as well too. And then the front desk at Wildcat Central, if you happen to be in Abilene or you're driving through, it is open if you want to come in and look around and ask questions there. Thanks everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our Zoom meetings.